everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we're doing something a little bit different to what we have been doing in the past. We're taking a little bit more of a well-being stance rather than business and work and being the best we possibly can be. We're just gonna breathe and calm down a little bit and just have some interesting conversations and just chill for a little bit because I feel like a lot of us struggle to find some time to chill. So I'm giving you permission to chill for an hour. So I am going to share my screen. If you just give me 1 second. That is not the screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Thank you. So you're going to find out as we go on what Peace Project actually is about, but it's a program exclusive to, or rather, project exclusive to X Culture. I created it, I have no idea how many semesters back, but it's been in the program for quite a while. I'll go in more in depth in a little bit, like what it is about and what is actually the purpose of it. But before we do that, today what we're going to be doing is introduction of our panel today. We'll also have a little icebreaker to get to know you, but beware, it's not your usual kind of icebreaker. Then we're going to go over the purpose of Peace Project. Then the core meaty part of it, we're going to have some really interesting discussions. And I really hope that everybody jumps in and contributes to it. And then if we have time, which I'm really hoping we do, we're going to do some breath work and then we'll do some closing, not some closing. Okay, so my name is Leon Masper. I am 20 years old and I'm from South Africa. I've been in X Culture since 2019 and now I'm a co-coordinator of Academy. And alongside that, as I mentioned, I started Peace Project. So this was just because it was a passion of mine and I really wanted it to be a part of X Culture because I found that the community really helped me in my own growth and well-being, etc. That I wanted it to create like an actual dedicated space for it. And I absolutely love it. And sort of linked to that, my ambitions in life or what I want to do is actually become an expressive art therapist. So this is very linked to what I find, what is the word, where I find my joy in the world basically and what I want to give back to the world. So it means a lot to me and I'm really happy to be able to share this with you all today. Denise, I'll pass it over to you.
Of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Denise Steintrick. I'm from Brazil. My first contact with X Culture was in 2017. Then I was a coach in the next semester, and I was a time away from X Culture, but last year I got back in the symposium in Poland. And now I'm back. I'm a lead coach in Academy. So this has been amazing. The opportunity to learn from me and to share my experience too. I am a professional, experienced professional. I work with HR, and yeah, it's great to be with you all here today. And now, Shadrach, you can go ahead.
Right, thank you so much. My name is Shadrach. I am 23 years old from Kenya, and I got in touch with X Culture first last year. That was from August to December during the fall semester, and it was my first ever time to actually have an experience with international people and get connected to international people. And I loved the experience, and I actually felt like I should continue. And then I joined in the coaching program from January this year up to May. I graduated to become a lead coach, and now this time it's not even much better and funnier. And actually, I love it so much here, and I've met amazing people. You guys, Leon, Denise, and all the other coaches that we're working with. So it's been an amazing journey for me. Yeah, so that is basically me, and you will get to know more about me as we proceed. Yeah. Thank you. Back to you, Leon.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, perfect. So now it's a little bit, we're handing it over to you. And the question, okay, there's a few questions to it, right? First question is, when do you feel most like yourself? So take a bit of time to think of this, and then once you have figured that out, what emotions do you link to it? And then what stops you from doing it? So I'll go first, and I would love it if everybody could contribute, either unmute yourself or you can put it in the chat. So firstly, when do I feel most like myself? I would say when I'm being like when I'm in nature, like I just feel in my absolute element then. Um, and the emotions that I link to it, probably actually like feeling whole and at peace. And what stops me from doing it? The lack of time. And I know that's such a bad excuse because I'm in control of my own time. But that being said, that is one of the main factors that actually stop me from getting out into nature. So that is me. I'm going to pass it over. Okay, I'm going to pick someone. Malika, would you like to go next?
So for me, I feel like long car rides, music, listening to music, and being in the mountains is when I feel most like myself. I love long car rides and then looking out and at the mountains, at the hills, and I just what emotion do I link to it? Being relaxed, being happy, feeling adventurous. And what stops me from doing it? Of course, time. And then long car rides can be expensive because, gas is also expensive and time also. So, yeah, that is what I would say.
Thank you for sharing. I do agree with you on that. That is also a very cool way to just chill out. Who would like to go next? You can either raise.
Let me do it.
Okay, perfect. Go for it.
I don't know if you can hear me. Wait,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me very clearly. For the background, when I'm walking on like a cold winter morning, I feel very cozy, and I link the emotion of calm, and I'd say it's not an emotion, but I feel
Is it just me or is it also breaking up for
like I'm
everyone?
in a very reflective state.
I think the last part cut out there. If you don't mind repeating it.
No, I'm sorry. What stops me from doing it is that, well, one being the seasons, obviously, and prioritizing other things.
That makes sense. No, I do get that, but I also totally agree with what you're saying that there's no better feeling than that cozy feeling, and oh, I love it as well. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else?
Yeah, sure. I wanna go next.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so I feel most like myself when I'm listening to music, and actually when I'm also singing. It's always give me that peace of heart, and I feel like very relaxed, and uh, I think it's something really that it's just inside me that I just feel very relaxed, and also makes me feel like uh, a wonderful creation of a certain atmosphere that just brings peace. And then what makes me actually stop doing it is my tight schedules. Uh, the many things that I do, so I don't really have much time to do the singing and listening to music. So that's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I think time is everybody's enemy at this point.
Yeah, that can be.
I have the impression that most of the replies are related to music somehow. So this might be an interesting clue for who is not sure, maybe thinking on what moments music can help you.
That is very true. I feel like music is very healing in many ways. Would anybody else like to go before we move on? So we have a comment in the chat. Oh wow, that's actually very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm just going to read this out loud. Um, when I'm leading in group meetings and assignments, I really like how it makes me feel. I can explain myself very well when I lead. What stops me from doing it is I tend to question my ability and what the group might think of me. I totally get that. I feel like that's such a human thing of always sort of doubting ourselves, a second doubting ourselves, but go for it. Believe in yourself. But that's really amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Actually, I like how unique that is. Anybody else? Feel free to put in the chat or unmute yourself.
I can share mine too. It's a bit odd. It's related to music, but I think the environment, it's not so usual. But I think the moment I feel most like myself, it's related to the restroom. It's when I'm taking a bath. It's when I'm cleaning the bathroom and I can put some music and just close the door so I can sing aloud. I can dance there if I'm not gonna fall on the floor or something. But whatever, I think the emotion is that freedom of not being listened to other people, of not being seen to other people. This is the moment I can truly be myself. I'm like in that close space where it's no about privacy, and yeah, you can do what you want there. It's I know it's odd that, so I don't do that that often, but yeah, I think one of the things that prevent me from doing that more often is also the shyness and yeah, sometimes we are just too busy to take some time to think on ourselves. So this is when I have time for thinking, like a longer bath or for cleaning the room with some music and just not doing the basic stuff.
I don't think it's odd at all. I think you should definitely do it more often. I thank you so much for sharing. Okay. If nobody else wants to go, then I think we can move on. But I'm gonna give last chance. Would anybody else like to share? No? Okay, cool. Well, if you think of something that you would like to share throughout, feel free to pop it in the chat. We would love to hear your view and yeah, basically your view. Okay, so going on to Peace Project itself. Firstly, our purpose. It's very much about creating a safe space and very community centered. Like as I mentioned at the start, what I found the most powerful thing in X culture was the community. It is a very safe and I feel like supportive community, and I really wanted to carry that on in Peace Project. So that is one of our main purposes. Also, encouraging self-expression and creativity. I believe very strongly in this of the fact that being able to express ourselves and being able to actually allow ourselves to be creative in any way or form is such a healing aspect of our life. And I feel like lots of us don't do it, sadly, either because of shyness or we don't have time or we don't think we're good enough for it. But what I have learned is that creativity and self expression, there is no right and wrong, it's only what works for you. And then also promoting balance of being and doing. So, you know how we all just said that we don't have enough time and we're too busy doing things. So, finding a balance in actually allowing ourselves to blast music in the bathroom and dance, or to go and sit in nature for a whole hour and not do anything but sit in nature. So, very much of finding that balance, which is a very hard thing. I am still learning as I go as well. I feel like I'm going to be learning for a very long time how to do that, but it is a process and it is a part of life. And then also leading the way to a world full of love and light. I think we can all agree that the world needs a lot of love and light at this moment. So if Peace Project can be a little drop in the ocean of sending out a ripple effect, then I will be really happy of that. And then what we stand for is positive energy through storytelling. This is a form of self expression. Everybody has their own story, and I think it's so beautiful. Also, evaluating our ability to support those around us. There's a saying that I absolutely love, and it goes, okay, I'm not going to quote it word for word, but it goes something for the fact of we heal in community, not in isolation. And I think that is so true. And then also advocating for well-being, creating a safe space to share, because sometimes all we need is just somebody to listen, not to fix our problems or anything like that. We just want somebody to listen. And then also encouraging one another. The part again linking to the fact of the community is, you know, building each other basically. And we can do that by supporting each other. Okay, so that is the gist of it, just so you understand what actually this is all about. And now we are going to get into our discussion. So, sorry, I'm currently sick. I have a cough. So if I just start coughing randomly, like I'm going to do, just excuse me for one moment. Sorry. Okay, so this is broken down into three sections: mind, body, and spirit. So we're going to focus on each one. We're going to have some discussions around them. And again, we'd love your insight. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so it's a little bit more of a discussion and not staring at a screen. Now my computer has frozen. Can you still see my screen or not?
No, you stopped sharing.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Sorry, I don't think my computer needs I don't know. My computer's going on strike. So, we're gonna start with mind, as I mentioned, and my first question, actually, Denise, I wanted to ask you this: is how do you how do I word this? How does like spending time in silence like affect you or impact you in either emotionally, mentally, physically? Like what effects does it have on you?
Oh, wow, that's a very interesting question. And to be honest, this is something that's I really like. I really enjoy having some time just with myself in silence. But still, I'm quite an anxious person, so there's a lot of noise here inside of my head, even though when it's silent around. So yeah, this is something that I try to do with some kind of frequency to help calm down, to help me put me back on my own track. And yeah, meditation is one thing that I've been trying that's been very helpful to get the true silent, not just the noise around, but I think the noises that are inside our own mind, they can be even louder than what's going on around.
That's so true. I absolutely agree. I think like it's very much a thing of it's easy to find, okay, maybe not that easy, but it's easier to find silence outside than actually within our own minds, because at that moment I feel like you actually allow yourself to be in like a silent environment, the mind just goes full force. At least I experience that very often. Sort of linked to that, I actually wanted to ask, like, do you think embracing silence both internally and externally can like help one discover new like perspectives?
Yes, definitely. Because even when I can't find the silence inside my head, this is a moment when I can reflect about it, and I start to put my thoughts in order in sequence, and it's a moment of stillness, it's a moment of relax, and yeah, it's important to find my own track, as I mentioned, to find the answers that sometimes are harder to find when we are in the middle of the busy, in the middle of the loudness.
I agree with you 100%. That's so true. Shedrick, do you agree with like what Denise was saying, or do you have a different view?
Yeah, sure. Actually, spending time alone or in silence is quite therapeutical to me because that is like the moment now when you like recollect yourself from maybe something that had just happened, and then maybe something was going on wrong, and then you can just try to recollect yourself and refresh your mind, practice freely, then get yourself back on track. So yes, it helps me alone quite some time to have some time alone. So it really helps to be in silence and just you're there, just alone, maybe stay in a still place, staring at one point, and then you identify just like a thing that you focus on to, and then through that you can try to recollect yourself and figure something out that you really thought that was going on mess, and then you can actually recollect yourself. So yeah, it really helps.
Thank you for sharing that. I actually have a question for everyone. Like, does anybody find it hard to be in silence? Like, I know it can be, especially in our society today, we are surrounded so much by noise that the moment there is silence, it's actually quite overwhelming. I'll give an example. So I live on a nature reserve and it's 5,000 hectares in the middle of nowhere up in the mountains. So there is silence. There, like, I don't know how to say it. It sounds weird, but you can hear the silence. And when people come and visit, because the courses are held here in programs, and people come here and they actually freak out by the fact of how silent it is and how there's literally not a single sound. And I always find it so interesting because I've grown up, like I've been here since I was 2. So I know silence, let's put it like that. But for other people, it's really confronting and very overwhelming. So for anybody here, if they're willing to share, like, do you find it, I don't know, overwhelming to be in a space of vast silence?
Wait, can I ask something?
Yeah, sure.
When you say there's like silence, are the animals not chirping at all? Like it's deadly silent?
I mean, sometimes, okay, yes, there is like birds and there's like natural sounds, but you can have moments where there's literally not a single sound. Like there's not a breath of wind, there's not a bird. It's like it's actually really, really quiet. But usually there are birds and stuff like that, but still sometimes, not always. Julia, you have your hand up. Go for it.
Sorry again for the noise. I can't do much about it. But for me, I think so many people, we have so much going on. I think a lot of people have mentioned we have so much going on in our head that when you finally expose yourself to these thoughts, it's just a bit overwhelming for yourself. And I have that where I have so much going on and we're just distracted by all these like instant things we need to do. So when we take the time to stop, we're like, oh wow, here's the list of things, oh, I haven't done. And a bit like that. I do.
I totally get that. I think 100% it's like when we have the distractions, like our thoughts and emotions very much get put on the back end of everything. And then as soon as those distractions go away and there's silence, it's like, oh my God, yikes, there's a lot that I need to like process or that's sort of coming up. And that can be, if you don't know how to handle it, can be very overwhelming. So I agree with you 100%. Anybody else have anything they would like to ask or share on that topic, or even a topic of the mind? No? Okay, cool. So then we're going to go into a slightly different topic that I wanted to ask, and it's kind of related, but not really. Is how would you say that, like, gratitude plays in our daily mindsets? And Louise actually wanted to ask you this one. Sorry, I'm roping you in.
Um, that's a great question, but it's also hard to verbalize. Um, I think for me, it's very important to also use gratitude and also really use that also to ground my thoughts and like try to enjoy the small things and like um there's sometimes a lot we want to do and we want to achieve, but sometimes it's also good to be grateful for where we are at the moment, for just seeing a pretty flower or just like the small things. And I think I'm also really trying to focus on that, especially with studying. I sometimes feel like I'm really working towards like goals, but also trying to be grateful for your experiences and for the journey there. That is something I try to embrace, and I think that's really important.
Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing that. I agree with you 100%. Does anybody else have any comments on gratitude or how? Okay, actually, first question: does anybody here practice gratitude on a daily basis or a weekly basis? Can I have a thumbs up or some sort of indication if anybody does? Okay, nice. We have one person so far. Well done. Okay, Malika, yay.
When I mean practice, I mean I think before I go to bed, I've had this habit since I was little. Three things I'm grateful for, and that's like I do that mentally, but nothing more.
That no, but I mean that counts so much, and that's you know what I feel like. Even there's another saying. I don't know. I'm horrible at quoting things, but it goes something like I don't even know what it goes like. It's just the like the what am I trying to say? The process of thinking of like trying to be grateful almost, or like being grateful, not even having to list something, but just that action itself is very powerful. Sorry, I butchered that so much, but you get what I'm trying to say. Um, so I definitely agree. I also try and do that also mentally, but it's something I'm still working on to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Does anybody else here have any ways that they practice gratitude? Maybe weekly, daily, whatever it is. Malika, you can
I
start
try
with.
to make a conscious effort to practice gratitude because it's also something that is like embedded in our culture. It's taught to us to practice gratitude, and I feel like it helps me when I really I get very competitive, and I feel like I sometimes maybe I'm very far behind in life and I'm not doing what I should be doing. And then it kind of helps when I think about the privilege and certain things that I have and how I should be grateful for those privileges because not everybody has those privileges. So it helps me calm down, it helps me be less anxious. So I try to make a conscious effort, and it has really helped me because I try not to get caught up in the rat race. So, and also we have this belief that if you practice gratitude, if you're grateful for something that you have, something that you receive, you will get more. So let's say if you're grateful for anything, then you will get more for it. Yeah, that is all.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's actually very beautiful. Um, and I think it's also like gratitude something very much, how do I say this, is like when times are tough or when life doesn't seem to be going that great, it can give a little bit of hope. Like I feel like gratitude's very linked to hope as well. Um, and it can be quite a comforting thing. And we have a comment. Okay, so basically we have a comment that says like there's just some moments where just you have this immense feeling of feeling gratitude and grateful, and I so agree. And I think those moments are so pure actually, and so like wholesome because it's just you're not trying to think of it, you're not like consciously trying to make it. It just comes up that feeling, and I think it's such a special feeling to have. So thank you for sharing that and pointing that out. Shedrick or Denise, do you have any questions you would like to ask on the mind before we move on to body?
Well, thinking about mind, um, I would like to understand a bit more how we can differentiate our thoughts and our true self when we're not like having like a personality breakout or something like that, maybe. Because yeah, I feel it's hard in the day by day to set aside what is the moment when my own mind is taking care of my the rest of my life or when I'm taking care of my mind. So I want to know your thoughts on that, Leonie, and anyone else that want to share your experience, your thoughts.
Sorry. Um, okay, that's actually such a good question. And for me, it's very much I have a very over analytical, overthinking mind. So for me, it's very often hard for me actually to figure out when it's like a true thought almost. Maybe not even a thought is the right word, but like when it's can I use intuition maybe rather than my like own mind or like outside impacts coming in, or me taking in like sort of outside information and taking it on as my own. So to be honest, I'm still trying to figure this out. It's something I've been trying to work on for quite a while, and it's much harder than they make it seem. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, I think for me, what I have sort of learned is just to be able to like sit actually in that thought if it doesn't feel like it's truly aligning with who I am, and to really be like, okay, is this something that's coming up and it's actually something I need to process or think about, etc., or actually look into, or is it my mind just running on a little, I don't even know, whatever race it's going on that I can't quite figure out. Um, so I think it's just actually just being present with that thought. And then if it isn't something that actually aligns with who I am, it's just being like, okay, I hear you, I acknowledge you, but I don't have to deal with you anymore. I don't have to try and think of you or, I don't know, overanalyze you, which my mind loves doing. So I think it's basically, in short, it's just being present with that moment, with that thought rather, and acknowledging it. But yes, I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yes, well, that's a very interesting perspective, and it totally opened my mind for that. Well, anyone else would like to share your thoughts on this question? How do you differentiate your own thoughts from your own perspectives?
Anybody?
Wow, so quiet around. Shadrach, what do you think about it?
I think now we like practicing the silent point, like we all silent, trying to think of something to say. Yeah, it is quite impressive. Yeah. So, on this point, I think it's quite really difficult to actually differentiate your thoughts and your true self, because it's kind of you and another side of you. So it's really difficult for you to get to differentiate like what is what are your thoughts and like the true self. But like just Leonie said, it's very important like to stay in the moment, yeah, and focus on the moment. Yeah. Mm.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay, if there's nobody else that wants to comment on that, then I think let's move on to a discussion about body as a whole. Um, and my first sort of question I want to ask is, how does your body communicate what it needs to you? And especially in the sense of when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed. So, I should say you had a very stressful week. How does your body show that? Like, for example, okay, I'm not going to give examples. I want to first hear examples and then I'll give my own example. Does anybody want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Let me say something. Okay, I will not comment on when you're overwhelmed, but I want to say that my stomach screams and shouts loud when I'm angry. Yes. But that one now it's really loud and it has to speak for itself. So that is one way how my body kind of speaks and says, I need this, I need this, I need food, I need water, I need this. So yeah, that's it. Maybe we get something from you guys. Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that. I think as your stomach should. It should definitely speak when it needs. um, what I find quite interesting, and this sort of links to the thing of silence and like being able to not have distractions around, which is very hard in our society today, but is like how often our body is actually giving us signs like, hey, actually, we really like this is too much for me to cope with. It's a very stressful situation, or I'm feeling burnt out, or I need sleep, all these kind of things. And I want everybody, just, you don't have to answer this, but just think how many or like what percentage of the time do you actually listen to that? How how often do you actually listen to your body when it's asking something of you? And I won't speak for everyone, but I speak for myself as well. Like, it's been a journey of actually being able to listen and hear my body when it's trying to tell me something. Like, especially when I'm stressed, my body does not like my body does not react well to stress at all. Um, so I've had to learn to pay attention to the little signs that don't lead to a burnout, because otherwise then it's a whole different story. But I feel like, again, when there's so many of those distractions happening, or we are too busy, like, oh, okay, actually I'm going to reply to all my emails and sacrifice my sleep, for example. I've done that many times and I've regretted it many times. I see Louisa smiling at that as well. We both, I think we both relate very hard to that one. But that's just an example, and it sort of just shows how often do we sacrifice our own health for a task, or because we feel like we have to do something, or we're doing too much, and then it just gets in this constant cycle. So that is something that I've found that I've been trying to break and pay more attention to. And I feel like boundaries is a very good thing, and also simple things like a body scan. I don't know if anybody knows of that, but it's literally you just do a scan of your body. Okay, obviously mentally, right? You just go through your body and be like, how am I actually feeling? Like, what is my back really sore? Why is my back sore? Is it trying to tell me something? Like, okay, that sounded very philosophical. Wait, philosophical? Is that a word? That word? But you know what I'm trying to say is like actually just listening and feeling into your body. Louisa, do you have any comments on that linked to our email sacrifice?
Feel for me, my body is very clear in it. And first, I was annoying because when I do too much one week, I will instantly feel it. If I and I tend to hold stress really in my body, which and now I find it more helpful because most of the times for me it's like when I have a headache, it's usually stress and I feel that it's just tension I hold. And the same like with my I get like shoulder pain a lot when I'm also because I work behind a laptop a lot, but also with stress. And it's then that I really okay try to listen to it. The hard part is sometimes you know that you're stressed, but you still have to do the task, right? Sometimes my body is saying no, and I'm like, I know, but it's important. And I'm also trying to find moments of like stillness and trying also to honor what my body tells me because that's really important to also listen to the signals and also actually act on that. And for example, yesterday I felt really long day. Well, it was really cool outside, so my body started cramping a lot. And then I was like, okay, so when I'm done, I'm just gonna put some music on and do something creative, take a shower. And then I was like, I woke up the next morning and um my body didn't feel stressed anymore. And it's like learning also what works for your body and how you can listen to it and pay attention to it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I totally agree with like that, especially the thing of like finding what works for you and honoring like what self-care is right for you, because there's no wrong or right. Everybody has a completely different thing. For somebody, it could be sprinting. I hope you're okay. I'm joking. But it can really vary from it could be, I don't know, hiking to reading. It's so many different things, or having a spa day. There's so many options, and it's just finding what is right for you. And it can change also. I feel like as you go through life, it's going to evolve as you evolve. So there's no like set, I don't know, set way of honoring your body and like looking after yourself. But sort of linked to that is, Denise, what would you say like how do I say this? Sort of linking the mind and the body together. Like what physical movement, maybe like yoga or walking, how does that like impact your emotional state? Like, do you feel like there's any link between the two?
Yes, definitely. And I just want to go one step behind because I think this topic that you mentioned about reading the signs of your body is too important. And I have a personal situation I would like to share. I was not good at reading my body, at identifying these things, even though they were there. But I just realized that it was because of stress when they started to accumulate, to have like several symptoms at the same time. It started with a flu, then the flu wouldn't get healed, it was getting just worse. Then my hair started to fall, then my stomach started to ache. So at the first symptoms, take care of yourself. Stop, rethink, and select the right route. And yes, I think the physical activities are very important and they are good for that too. I like sometimes in the middle of the day, just take a break and have a walk around my block with my dog sometimes, just to relax, just to release the tension that I'm feeling, or sometimes just to stretch out. Even if in my room, if it's raining or something, and I can go outside. Um, and one thing that you mentioned is finding the activity that you like, that you feel comfortable with that. If you don't like walking, okay, try another thing. I hate going to the gym. I hate doing a lot of stuff. I I haven't tried yoga, but it doesn't really call my attention there. But one thing that I find that really raised my passion is Pilates. This is doing a great job for my body, for stretching, for um, strength and everything, and for my mind, because it's a moment when I can forget everything else that's going on in my life, the stress I have from work, the stress I have with other situations, and just focus on that. Because if I don't focus on that, I will fall. I will have some bruise or something else. So this is also a moment to talk with other people, to see others' perspectives, to just to talk about chit chat or anything like that. So yeah, I like physical activities is something I denied for a long time, but once I found the thing that I like, it changed my life, and I don't want to let it go anymore.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Instead of just adding like I would say as well, like how important physical movement actually has on our mental and emotional well-being. Like, if you're stressed or anxious, like just the fact of moving, like getting up and just moving. It doesn't matter what you're doing, just go for a walk, go for a run, anything. I feel like it has such an impact because it just kind of it takes you out of your mind, right? It brings you more into your body, and that's like so important because we're so often in our mind. Um, and again, it literally could just be going for a simple walk. Like walking, there's been so much. I'm not going to try and bring up all the data, but there's literally been proof of like the benefits that walking can have, both mentally, emotionally, and obviously physically, right? So just like our everyday things, if we just pay a little bit more attention to them, like how much they can actually have a positive impact on our life. Um, do we have any other questions or comments on regards to the body? Yes, go for it.
Personally, I think a big part of it is feeling guilty because we often have like things that are more, what we feel that are more important that we need to prioritize and get over with. And I don't know, I feel that like, letting go of that guilt factor is like very important because it is, as all of you mentioned, it is very important to do something creative, to move, or even when you're moved, go outside because I know that whenever I go outside, spend time in nature, the process of getting there.
Sorry, you slightly lagged, but I think I got mostly what you said. But maybe you
I
could just repeat the
think
last part.
I'm gonna type.
Okay,
I think I'm
perfect.
just gonna type something in the chat because it's quite noisy.
Great, thank you so much. But what I did hear you say was the fact of like feeling guilty, and I totally agree with that. As I feel like very much in our society, sorry, today, it's very like we feel bad for doing things for ourselves. Basically, we made to feel like we need to always be doing something and doing something in regards to getting somewhere, career-wise, studies, being successful, etc., etc. Like it's very often looked down on almost in a way, but I like that the fact that it is changing, but very often it's looked down on the fact like, oh, you just went for a walk in nature. Oh, okay. It's like there's a very judgment based like approach on it, and which I don't like, but I think it is like changing as times go on, which I'm very grateful for because it's very needed. But yes, I think for everybody here is you are allowed to do whatever you want to look after yourself, whatever that may look like for yourself. Okay, I think just for the sake of time, let us move on to spirit. Um, sorry. Um, so firstly, I had a question, and that is, what makes your soul happy? What is like the moment that you're literally the happiest you can be? Shadrick, what would yours be? I feel like this is all going to be very linked to our icebreaker, but I'm still curious.
Yeah, definitely yes. So for my side, what makes me really happy is like singing. Um, that moment when I'm singing, I feel like that is when I'm my true self, and that is when I can let like everything out so loud and just in a private space singing alone. Then it's normally a situation or environment that is actually brings total joy to me and my heart. Then one other thing that makes me actually very happy is being appreciated by people. Like I remember lastly and recently, someone really appreciated me for some great job that I had done. I was making like a poster for them, and then they were like, "Oh, you're so good at what you're doing, and I'm so proud of you." So like that gratitude, getting it from outside people, like it really brings me joy in my heart. Like someone telling you, I'm so happy, the progress that you're making, I'm proud of you, it really creates certain joy in my heart. So is that is just what I can say that gives me happiness in me. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. No, I totally agree with you. And it's so important to know what actually brings us happiness because it really, I feel like it just, I don't know, it does something to the soul.
hmm
um,
Yeah.
would anybody else like to share?
For me, I think it's creativity and creating something. And I also really like doing it with others. Like sometimes with my friends, we like nowadays we do a lot on like social media and stuff, and now I really like just doing like an old school, okay, let's come over, let's all create like mood boards, like mood cards. I'm a liar at heart, I'm sorry. I try to say mood boards, the ones you do in magazines. And I really, or creating jewelry or like something together that you're like in the moment and trying to like create something new. I think that really makes me happy.
I totally agree with you. That's definitely such a pure way of like finding happiness and just self-expression and everything. There's so many benefits to it. Anybody else? Otherwise, somebody unmuted themselves. Go for it. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Because for me, sometimes I just get randomly really happy for really random things, such as I look out the window and I see a raindrop and I decide to be very happy. I don't know why. I'm just very happy. So I look at my hand, I see my hair tie. Okay, I'm very happy now. I have no idea why, but I'm very happy. Yes.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's such a, I feel like it's so linked to gratitude as well.
Something very similar that will always make me happy is seeing a cat anywhere. If I see a cat, I will just be the happiest person ever. And I get very unhappy if that cat rejects me when I go up to them. But of course, I need their consent. And seeing anything that is cat shaped, I need to get it. Seeing a cat in general, I need to take its picture. I need to go up. I just stop whatever I'm doing and I just go up to it and I try to pet it. I love cats.
Oh, I love that. That's so pure. But I agree, they do bring a very unique feeling of happiness. I definitely agree with you. Anybody else?
Malika, feel happy. It's very it's okay. Okay. Yeah, I agree with the animals. I sometimes feel very happy, just like looking to my dog when she's asleep and she's calm there, and I just feel a miracle joy inside of myself. That's amazing. And something I just want to say, if there's anyone who is shy to open the mic or something, please write in the chat. We want to have your thoughts there. Share it. This is a safe environment of your faith.
So true. Thank you so much for sharing that, Denise. Um, any last ones that wait, what am I trying to say? Any last comments anybody would like to make in regards to what makes them happy? No? Okay, well then I think it's a nice note to end off our discussions, a very happy and positive note. And also for the sake of time. So thank you so much for participating within our discussions. I absolutely love these discussions. I could like speak about this for hours and hours and hours. But I'm going to quickly share my screen again, and then okay, can you see my screen again?
Yes.
Thank you. So just to wrap off and sort of end our hour of chill vibes and peace, hopefully for everybody. I'm definitely feeling more calm than when I started, so thank you. Is we're gonna do some breath work, and it's very simple. It's nothing fancy. But I would invite everybody, if you're comfortable, just to close your eyes, just like sit comfortably. Just take a few deep breaths, and when you're ready, we're gonna breathe in calm and breathe out anxiety. Breathe in joy and breathe out stress. Breathe in strength and breathe out weakness. Breathe in confidence and breathe out worry. Breathe in hope and breathe out the past. Breathe in kindness and breathe out hurt. Breathe in wisdom and breathe out ignorance. Breathe in peace, breathe out conflict. Breathe in acceptance and breathe out doubt. And now just take a few more deep breaths, as big as you can, as deep as you can. And then if your eyes are closed, feel free to open them, look at your surroundings, maybe find something or feel into something that you feel grateful for today. I feel very grateful for everybody who joined today and participated. Yeah, I'm really grateful that you all took this time for yourself as well, and also to support Peace Project. It really means a lot. I was trying to participate also in the breathing work, but my nose is so blocked I could hardly breathe. So everybody did it for me. And then lastly, so that is it pretty much. Thank you so much once again. I really enjoyed this hour with you all, and I hope you did as well. I hope you have a fabulous week ahead. And yeah, remember to take moments for yourself and to do what you love.